Wow. I don't like this. You're not even smiling. Hi. Hi. Much better. So, how many of you believe or know that laughter is the best medicine? You don't know? Okay. Okay. So, because some of us are not sure if laughter is the best medicine or not, I invite you to please stand up with a smile. And TD smile, E. You have to say E. Very nice. So, it's very simple. You have to do as I do and say as I say. Is that okay? Yes. With a smile. E. And shake your hand. Shake, 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 shake. Bolna bhi hai. Shake, 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 shake. And shake your legs. Shake, 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 shake. Very bad energy. Shake, 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 shake. And shake your bums. Come on. Shake, 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 shake. Bolna bhi hai bhai. Shake, 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 shake. And shake your head. And shake your whole body. I can't hear you. Very nice. Don't sit. This was just a warm-up. Now do you believe that laughter is the best medicine? Yes. Okay, very nice. So now we are getting into learning a new language. It's called gibberish. The rule remains the same. Do as I do, say as I say. But there is one change. If my energy is at 1, your energy has to be at 10. Is that okay? Yes. Okay. Alelaki takanga. Jeez. Alelaki takanga. Umasa masa masa. Kenan, you have to do it. Alelaki takanga. Umasa masa masa. Alve. Alve. Alva. Alelaki takanga. Umasa masa masa. Move your bodies, yaar. Umasa masa masa. Alve. Alve. Alva. Very nice. Thank you. Please sit. Now that we have established laughter is the best medicine, I want you to imagine this. A child is sitting on a hospital bed waiting for his surgery. He's holding his mother's hand so tight that her knuckles have turned white. Machines are beeping, doctors are rushing in and out, and there is a lot of fear in the room. Now, suddenly, the door opens. A girl with colorful hair and red nose walks in, does something silly, just like she was doing right now. The boy looks confused, of course, then curious, and finally, he smiles. Doctors later share that because he was calmer, he needed a reduced dose of anesthesia. Normally, what the dose is required, this boy did not require that much. Now, can you believe that? A simple 2 minutes of exercise actually helped in reducing the dose of anesthesia. This is what volunteering with joy looks like. This is what we do at Clownselors Foundation. Let's first watch what we do.
For the parents, obviously they are stressed out because the child is in the hospital. So they see, and more importantly, when they see the child smiling, they smile.
मुझे अच्छा लगता है हमारा बच्चा जिस साथ में खेलता है तो बड़ा खुश लगता है मेरे बच्चे तो खुशी के मारे भाग बजे चले गए अपने दुख को ही भूल गए थे बहुत ही बढ़िया लगा अच्छा लगता है बच्चे इनको देखकर खुश हो जाए
So what is medical clowning really? Have you heard of medical clowning ever? Some of you have heard because you've known me for many years now. So we started in 2016, and this therapy has been around since the 1970s. There is a film called Patch Adams. So Hunter Dorothy Patch Adams is the person who started this. I would highly recommend you to watch that film. Why did he start this is that because whenever we are hospitalized or whenever we are struggling physically, there is a lot that is happening mentally and emotionally as well. Do you agree? And unfortunately, healthcare systems are mostly focused only on the physical aspect of health. There are drips, doses, this, that, but it's mostly focused on the physical aspect of health. Emotional health is usually neglected, and that's where clowning comes into the picture. How we do it is, you saw people with wigs and noses, so that's exactly what medical clowning is. It's about dressing up as clowns and visiting hospital spaces and doing some funny activities. Now, is it comedy? Is it taking circus to the hospital? Is it a performance? No, it is not. It is a one-on-one engagement which is backed by science, where humor, songs, music, dance, all of this is brought together to entertain patients, caregivers, and the hospital staff. The idea is that when a patient suddenly starts feeling a little less emotionally stressed, the healing becomes better, the recovery process also becomes better. And this you would have seen during COVID also. If you had COVID, then the moment the fear increased, the oxygen became low. But when we were feeling better, or when we were laughing and we had family around us, then the oxygenation process was normal. That's exactly what medical clowning does. Now, when we talk about volunteers, what happens? So, I think before me, almost everybody spoke about what is there for volunteers when we are volunteering. So, when we are clowning, and this is from experience, this is something that most volunteers have shared with us, that when they go into a hospital, they feel that we are going to heal others, but we actually come out healed ourselves. So, back in 2016, the first time when we entered the hospital, when we came out, we could not stop smiling. We used to call it smile hangover, and this was echoed from all 5 of us, that when we entered the hospital, we had dinosaurs running in the hospital, in the stomachs, because we didn't know what to do. The training did not happen, and we were just thrown into it. But when we came out, we had stories like parents who said that our child has laughed after 5 days. Our child has eaten after 7 days. Our child was not even standing up, and now look at him. He is running around the hospital just chasing you. This is the kind of impact volunteering does at hospitals, and while doing that, we also heal ourselves. Now, I've mentioned this, from 5 volunteers, we are 800 volunteers strong. Considering other organizations, I think this is a very low number, but because clowning is a very intimate kind of a volunteering, we cannot take large number of people to a hospital. At max, we can only take 9 to 10, if that is a government big hospital. If it is a private hospital, 2 or 3 maximum, because we have to be very sensitive. Now, when we talk about volunteering, and we have touched more than 8 lakh lives, which includes patients, caregivers, staff, also other spaces that we work with. Now, when we talk about volunteers, we have been asked this over 9 years, I think 900 times, why volunteers? Because there is a crunch of volunteers, sometimes we are struggling. But like Abhishek mentioned, that retention is possible when we create a community. So we have a community of volunteers who have been around with us, and of course, there has been a lot of dropouts as well, but there have also been a retention rate which is very high. And one thing that comes from almost every volunteer who stayed is that anytime I am feeling low and I come for volunteering with Clownselors, I start feeling better. Suddenly, I feel more grateful for the life that I have. And what does volunteering here teach us? That there can be so many things going wrong in life, yet there is always something to look forward to, and that's exactly what volunteers take to the patients. There is human connection involved. And when we are asked that why not hire clowns, because when we give from our heart, the energy is different. it is required to have a lot of heart and passion when we actually enter a hospital. So the process is that the first few minutes we just have to observe. We cannot just enter. Then there is a lot of sensitivity that is required when we enter the hospital ward. So for example, if I'm standing outside the hospital ward, I have to first look, see how things are, and then only can I enter, and then how much can I, what my volume would be, how much can I speak, what can I do. Everything is governed by the atmosphere of that ward, not something that is preconceived or not something that is already decided that this is what we are going to perform. And why is that? Because it is about human connection. What medical clowning does is it gives power to the patient. Usually, a patient is in a powerless situation. Doctor comes, does the drip, nurse comes, puts the injection. Nobody is even talking to them that what is really happening, what do they really want. And that's where volunteering comes into picture. We, as volunteers, don't just go into hospitals. We also go to schools where we teach children to express without fear and break the labels. I think we've all grown up with labels, at least I was. And when I started clowning at the age of 30, I realized that, oh, I was not this, I can be better, I can be more. And that's exactly what we go back to school with. We go to colleges to reduce stress and anxiety and improve their morale. We also work with workplaces, corporates. The idea is to create a culture of empathy and resilience. And also, we have now started working with the Indian Armed Forces, especially the Indian Army. And I remember the last year, the first session, there were 100+ soldiers in Leh. And when I entered, they were sitting with notebooks and pens. And these were all like tall, very well-built men. And they looked at me with big and nose and they were like, why? What are you even doing here? And then I asked them to make a circle. They could not make a circle. They are so used to making parallel lines that they didn't know what to do. It took some time for them to open up. And finally, when they opened up, and after about an hour of the session, one of the soldiers said, thank you for giving us permission to laugh. We usually are not allowed to laugh. There was another soldier, about 40 years of age, who said, after school, this is the first time I have played and laughed like this. So thank you for being here. And the whole idea is that mental well-being doesn't always have to be preachy. It can be a lot of fun, and we can bring awareness on mental well-being. Our work does not stop there. During Danutsav, India's Festival of Giving, our volunteers set up stalls at metro stations. They go to streets and they stand with placards saying free hugs. They stand with placards saying, phone jeb mein baatein dil se, share a story, share a smile with a stranger. Obviously, many commuters hurry past us and they don't really stop. But there are many who stop, give us a hug. One woman, while giving a volunteer a hug, had tears in her eyes and said, this is the first time in days that I felt seen. And I don't know how many of you know here that hugs have the same effect as laughter. So we need at least 7 to 8 hugs in a day to stay healthy. The first free hugs campaign we did was in 2017 at CP in Delhi. And when we went back home, on our social media, we received a message from a young guy saying, thank you for being at the right place at the right time. One hug from your volunteer saved my life. I was going to kill myself today. And for me, that was so powerful. I think when we started free hugs, it was just that passion or that drive that, oh, we want to do free hugs. We never thought that somebody would actually come back saying that you saved our life. Now, after 9 years, we are the pioneers in medical clowning, of course. Our volunteers are the cheerleaders and the spearheaders of this movement. And now we are training medical professionals into medical clowning. Why? Because that is the most sustainable way of ensuring that doses of laughter is given equal importance as doses of medicine. Why should only medicines be given importance and not doses of laughter? Our work is rooted in Sustainable Development Goals, of course, SDG 3, which is good health and well-being, by of course, reducing pain and anxiety and recovery, enhancing recovery. I'll just take 1 minute extra. reduced inequalities because we work with government hospitals and different communities. So the idea is to provide psychosocial support to all communities who are usually underserved. And SDG 17, partnerships and collaborations, we thrive on collaborations. We work with a lot of organizations. And what does it mean for the people here in this room? To the volunteers, I would like to say your time matters. We don't always need a degree to heal, a medical degree. We can heal with a smile, a red nose, and just the courage to hold space for someone. To the change makers, innovation doesn't always come from technology. Sometimes all it requires is a red nose and the will to change things, just with that one laugh or a smile. And to the corporate leaders, when you involve volunteers, you're not just fulfilling CSR, but you're actually building stronger communities and a kinder world. And now I want to leave you with this thought. Breakthroughs don't always come from machines and research labs. They also come with a red nose, a simple smile, and the courage to show up over and over again to hold space for somebody else. This is the true power of volunteering, and this is the impact of the smallest mask in the world, the red nose. With this, I would request you to please close your eyes. And for next 10 seconds, just think about yourself. For each time you've shown up for yourself and for others. And spread out your arms and give yourself a warm, nice hug. A hug usually you give to others. And say, I love you to yourself. Thank you. Thank you so much. This is Clownselors. If anybody wants to join, you're most welcome.